in the human mind. And if we will but explore the human mind, we can reclaim these relationships with our own authenticity and shed the childishness of historical existence and gender politics and all the rest of it, and move on to the real business of establishing a real civilization. Thank you very much. Does anyone want to ask a question, or is it all just perfectly clear, utterly convincing, and yeah? Of psilocybin? Bad effects. Somebody once said, "What's wrong with DMT?" And I said, "Well, nothing unless you fear death by astonishment." But your question is a good one. First of all, you know, I talked a lot about how what we have to do is destroy and ablate ego. However, there is a very small percentage of us who have a hard time creating any ego whatsoever. And for these people, boundary dissolution is no problem. Their boundaries are dissolving all the time on them. I would say that they are at the contraindicated end of the spectrum. That if you're fearful already and fighting to keep from being overwhelmed by confusion at what's going on in your life at the paper box factory or something, then probably tossing in mega doses of hallucinogens is not the way for you to do it. Or if you do, if you're just bent on doing that, then I would say do it in the presence of some kind of professional. And how you find a professional in this legal climate, you'll have to discuss with me privately. I don't want to make it sound, though, I mean, it's a tricky thing. I don't want to make it sound like it's absolutely riskless. Physically, I think it's pretty safe, unless you are odd in some way. But you need to know, you don't want to find out you're odd an hour and a half into it. But the problem comes with the mind. If you are delicately balanced, if your whole life has been about not looking at that or that or that, then this is not your game. You should go back to watching Jeopardy and the kind of person who is called to this is a person who has an exploring soul. I mean, I am not a courageous person in the sense that you won't find me shooting white water. You don't see me, rappelling down the faces of cliffs. But from the time I was the tiniest little kid, I was into the weird. What's weird? Weird is the compass heading. And if you keep your compass always pointed toward the peculiar, the outre, the bizarre, the unspeakably alien, then, you'll find these places. The people who think life is all cut and dried and are perfectly happy to have Carl Sagan and George Bush explain all of reality have never left the broad, swift stream of mundane thinking. But, off in the byways and tributaries, there's a wonderful alchemical saying, which I generally mangle, but I think it goes something like this. The tallest mountains, the oldest books, the widest deserts, there you will find the stone. And what it is it's a prescription for exploring weirdness. That's all. It's not going to be on MTV. It's not going to be in, God forbid, Esquire. It's going to come from, doing your homework, visiting strange people in strange lands, and checking it out. What I can't give you, to return to your question, is I can't give you a guarantee that it will be fun. The Rolling Stones have that wonderful line, you don't get what you want, you get what you need. This stuff is ruthless. And if there's something that you're trying not to look at, it's going to get you for sure. But ask the veterans. Most people will tell you you learn more from the bad trips than you do from the good ones. The good ones are ecstatic and connect you up to nature and other people. The bad ones show you your kinks and your limitations and your thought errors and that sort of thing. It's not an easy row to hoe. That's why I think there's a little bit of social confusion about it. One of the things I should make clear is I really advocate high doses rarely. I think the worst thing you can do is get into a style of psychedelic diddling where, you take half a gram every day. All this is doing is giving you a tolerance to psilocybin. You're not having the psilocybin experience. You're having the tolerance to psilocybin experience. The way to do these things is to do them rarely so that your whole system can reassert itself and come to equilibrium, and then just slam it. And this is amazing. I mean, I think that this works for all these psychedelics. I'm an inveterate cannabis user, and I wish, in a way, that I could get a slightly better grip on my cannabis use, because I think the real way to do cannabis is like once a week, by yourself, in silent darkness, with the strongest stuff you can get, and then immense amounts of it. And, people call it a recreational drug and a this and a that. Hey, done that way, it will catapult you into places where I love it, the great place to get to on cannabis, and some people never in their whole life touch it, is the place where you say, my God, I've done too much. It's not easy, folks, but it's worth shooting for. Basically, what you should do is do some homework, read some books, talk to your friends, and then hang on, Hannah. It's like, it's very much like riding an enormous roller coaster. Once that baby rolls out of the station, do not stand up. Do not try to climb out of your car. Shut up and hang on with the faith that most people have lived through this. Somebody else. Yeah. The purple.
Yeah, I have three real quick literary questions about your writing, and then one important question.
Well, having just heard that I'm a pothead, please ask them one at a time. What is your first literary question?
Okay. One of the assertions that you make is that low dosage was the typical evolutionary mechanism. My own experience is different than that. Many of my associates' experiences are different than that. And we believe that high dosage may have been a more common usage method.
Well, I don't mean to imply that people first used it in low doses and then middle and then higher over time. What I meant to imply, I think they were using low, middle, and high doses from the very get-go, but they were using low doses to hunt, middle-range doses for orgy and ceremony, and truly high doses for this boundary-dissolving tremendum. Second literary question.
Okay. When I read about Shadow Hayek, I liked you picking up on Mallard and Eisler, and I liked your use of dominator and partnership terminology. That was wonderful. But I disagreed when you said that the cows were an indirect expression of the fungus found in the art there. I found that to be kind of a leap of the logic. But my kind of thought has gone off the rails of reason in the past.
Well, I'm not wedded to that. First of all,